Uh, One of the things to consider when we speak about going to space is what do we define the space as? And what do we see or what we consider as a space? We take a space in our physical body on this planet, and at the same time, within the structure of our physical body, there is another dimension of life which we call the soul of the man. And even though it lives within the space dimensions of the body of the man, has its own life and has its own line of communication. And what we define space, going to space, we already know the inner sanctum or the creator of our physicality travels the depth of the universe, has been the space travel all the time, has a line of communication with other parts of us, be it through dream we call it, or through subconscious, some people they call it, or we have the choice that physically move the physicality with its soul. In a way, we have a bird caged in the physicality of the body of man, and that bird is called the soul of the man. We can open that cage and let it loose at the point of death. When the operation of this cage rots away, and it cannot hold together, and this beautiful bird becomes free. Still, it takes life in the universal dimension because it has a life. It exists on its own. Or we can carry the cage in a box and take it anywhere. I can take a bird cage in the car, I can take a bird cage in my hand and walk around the park. It doesn't change the entity and existence of that bird. It's still a bird, still sings, still communicates with other birds in the park. And this is how our soul is. So we give option. Those who understand the process of the creation can take that cage, that bird, out of the cage and free it, because we trusted it come back in. It's very much when you have a parrot at home, you open the door, you let him fly around the house, and he comes back again and he goes in the cage. Because you trust it. It knows that's where it belongs to. And this is the process that we have made an option to man. The soul of the man is that bird, but is encaged in physicality of body of man. And for the first time, man knows, man can see that it's him who hasn't trusted the bird to be freed. And it has come the time that he does not need to see the cage to break up, to rust, that the bird can fly out, or by accident open the cage's door is open and the bird flies out. That accident is when we die on the street. The bird cage opens up. That bird still gets freed. But now we are teaching how the man has control over this door of the cage. And he trusts that the soul will come back to the body. Or the bird will stay, that it can create that atmosphere of the home, the cage. This is the problem we have, and this is what we call it different ways of traveling. But to be able to free that bird without accident, or when the cage cracks, rust, and we call it death, we are teaching how to be able to control, to trust that that bird, when we release it, can come home, or can make a home that we can go to. When my children were young, 4 or 5 years old, they wanted a bird, a cockatoo. I bought them a cockatoo. And this bird in the cage was very young, few weeks old when we got him. And we used to let it free in the house. He knew he goes back in and he sleeps there and he lays egg there. And it came to the point, because of the diseases carried, we had to, the doctors told us, this bird cannot stay in the house because it's causing problem in the house, health problems. So we decided that we loved the bird. We didn't want to let it go, it was part of us. So we decided if we let it free, it will die, because he didn't know how to look after himself, because he was hand fed. We decided we'd take him to a sanctuary, and we give it to a sanctuary to be kept. We carried the cage across a park, and as we were walking to go to the sanctuary in the park to be given to them, an old lady saw us. She says, "Oh, what a beautiful bird." We said, "We have a problem, we love him, but if you leave him here, we don't know if you see him." She says, "I'll look after it, give it to me. You can come and see it anytime you like." And it was just like a gift. So we got the old lady in the car, we went to her house, we put the cage there, we showed them how to look after the bird, and the bird was free again in the room. And every now and then, children said, "Papa, can we go and see him?" So we called the lady, we go and see him, and the bird is there. And it was a new home, it was our home. And this is how the soul of the man should be. Is trusting that where he goes, he can make a home for us. So in this process, we are teaching different ways of freeing the bird or carrying the cage. The bird is still there. If you want to carry a cage and go somewhere, you get in the car. That's your spaceship. Still the cage is there and the bird inside. The cage is the body of the man and the bird is the soul of the man. Because we haven't trusted that we get the bird back. We carry the cage in the spaceship. Or there is another line of teaching, which is the understanding the structure of the cage, that you can make the cage not to rot, that then it frees the bird, but it can open up and you can carry the bird is free, you don't need to fuel it, you don't need to do anything, it travels the space of the room, the space of the garden, the space of the city, and it comes back home again. In a way, when we teach about the soul of the man, is in getting the man to trust himself. And to trust himself, he has to become detached. He has to come detached from physicality, detached from the wealth, detached from everything else. That the wealth is within me, not belonging to me. And this is where every man makes a mistake. In many of the teachings I have referred, if you understand that you can put the soul of the man to act with the soul of physicality of the man, you can make anything you like. The soul of the man is the sun, and the soul of physicality in the palm of the hand of the man is the earth. You move it in the direction, you create water, you create food, but you don't need to have it. It creates the energy that the physicality of the man can absorb. We give the earth in the hand, in the palm of the man. He creates what he needs, he takes what he needs from it. Then, if you understand this, you allow the soul of the man to carry the soul of the physicality of the man with it, and whenever it comes, it makes that hand, that palm, 1,000 meter, 1 meter, in a cage of physicality or in a cage of non-dimension. So it's not methods of flight, It's the method of man understanding his own potential, his own grace. So, because we have so many people who are so physically attached, we teach about the spaceship for years. This is what it was. They still wanted to see they can get into something. But, as I said, I teach for the universe, not for the man. What we teach in the dimension of soul of the man. Many travelers of the universe which hear the soul of me are educated, they understand what they missed. But as this is the last time we bring a messenger on earth, we teach everything for mankind to carry. All the rules are in the book. There shall be no more messengers. It's for man to translate knowledge. Scientifically, and then through the understanding of the soul of the man. What we call theology, ethics. Ethics of using the science in a way that does not harm no one, but it implies and applies the survival of the others. I was talking about this a few days ago, that there is a paper written by me, the station of the scientist as a prophet. The prophets we call Muhammad, Christ or anybody, are for the soul of the man, conduct of the behavior. Scientists like beautiful Tesla and others are to elevate the same, but the physicality of the man. This time we have put the two together in one go, then there is no difference. We teach the ethics, the soul conduct and physicality. It's for the man to understand where the two merge and when it's needed to be done. The totality which counts, not the individuality. What you can serve counts, not what serves you. So, in this way, if you are physical, we have given you the spaceship, all these reactors. If you have moved in the dimension of understanding part of it, you have the dynamic system, you get some energies, you put a glass of water, you mix the energy and something else together, you're still the camel bird. You put the orange, take the energy, but you still want that physicality that you're doing something with it, you drink the water. And for the soul of those who understand the totality, then they don't need the cage. They're the free bird. And this is the essence of all the teaching. It's not different ways of flight, is understanding the existence of the universe. Then if you travel with a spaceship, who do you see? The citizens of the universe in a physical dimension. If you travel with the soul that you can create the physicality, you take that out of the equation. You travel, but you know you have connection with everybody. It's very much, as I said once, it's like you get out of London and you go to New York. You're there on your own, but you still pick your phone and speak to the family in London. It's not finished. Now, the soul of the man, given the man the same opportunity. We teach for the time to come. And we teach from now till that time to come. And that time comes, is not anymore the end of the world, something will happen. It's the maturity of the one's understanding of his own creation.
Welcome, everyone, to the 301st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, November 7th, 2019. This is a broadcast from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Cram, and I'll be your host today, along with Flint Mulhausen. And of course, we're joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's got lots of interesting things to relay to us here. And we'll begin today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, good morning to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers. It's nice to be back, and it's nice to be able to share knowledge in a free way we've done, which is interesting enough, has created enough mayhem for those who thought knowledge has to be a way that one can control everything. We patented it, we intellectual righted it, we did everything with it, and mankind has realized something very simple. Keshe Foundation gives it away free. Because, as I said, there is no pattern in the universe. God never patented his inventions, and there are no intellectual rights to his property, as we are all his property, so we have no intellect to be.
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, we can barely hear you there. There's a microphone issue of some kind. Maybe it's not on the correct microphone.
Can you hear me?
No, it's very distant. It's like it's not connected. A different microphone is going through.
This way? Is it any better?
Not really. It doesn't seem immediate enough. Go ahead. That might be better.
Can it better? Is it any better?
That's a bit better. It just doesn't sound as full as it should for some reason.
Is it any better now?
No, it's about the same.
It's about the same. My system doesn't anymore. It's becoming stranger. No, it doesn't see the microphone.
Let's see. Can you go?
Strange.
Can you go into the audio set in Zoom?
I'm in the audio setting, but it doesn't see when I plug in the microphone.
That sounds a bit better there now.
Is it any better now?
No, it's faded again.
Any better? Are we there? Are we there yet?
No.
It sounded good before. What happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
You can go in. Maybe the Zoom switch the settings or something. You can go into the settings in the Zoom preferences and make sure you have.
Is this any better?
That's better.
Oh, good.
Very good now.
I had to change to iPhone pad. 1 second, please. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me any better?
That's very good now, I think. Keep talking a little bit, make sure it's okay.
Keep talking, keep walking. What else you want me to
do? That's great.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going on the iPhone, what do you call it, headphone system. But on the old system, never done this before. Okay.
So, is it comfortable for you? Is that going to be okay?
Yeah, it's actually much easier than the other one, than having something around your neck and getting this button all the time. Okay, if you're happy with this, we go with this one.
Very good. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Very much. We are here to serve. Let the customers be happy, even though they're always more than grown. They didn't get enough. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't big enough. Whatever, they keep on complaining.
Yes, those darn humans, eh?
Oh, yeah. I don't have them. We get them everywhere, huh? They couldn't do it in their planet. They come to mess us up now. It's okay, no problem. Anyway, as we were saying, we're sharing knowledge with you in so many different ways. And as we started this 300 series, we start building more and going in more detail in understanding of the totality of life in the dimension of the universal condition, not mankind. For past 300 sessions, we covered everything the man needed and everything else. Now we try to merge the two together. Meanwhile, we have to, in a way, do some backtracking and clean up or explain some of the things before. In the teaching last week, just 1 second, please. I'm getting coded message. I don't understand. In this process, as you know, the last week teachings has created a mayhem for a lot of people, especially those who listen to us and they were not here before. And as you know, in the teaching of last week, I referred to the Keshe Foundation, which is connected to us, another part of the work we do at the KF Global. As I said, we explained some things in there, which those are the shareholders came into the listening to the teaching, and then now they got a bigger shock. This is not just a system which Keshe Foundation is marketing, it's total new technology. And so we have to explain to you shareholders of banks and board authorities of whatever companies who bought the shares of Global, this is a Keshe Foundation program, nothing to do with Global. You are quite welcome here, but the knowledge here belongs to the foundation. And the foundation is the basis of the Global in operation by the knowledge they benefit by it. And whatever we discuss here, it belongs to us as Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers worldwide, and in no shape or form is set out to affect the value or the shares of Keshe Foundation global operation. This is your misunderstanding, and this is what you have to understand. Do not come here to collect information that how you value your shares. We give no value to no shares. This is the knowledge we share with more needed decades, 2 decades now. And it's not for you to come in and benefit by it and to what it suits you. This is home of knowledge, sharing freely, and do not try to be clever to benefit by it because you think you bought some shares in some whatever destined cousins of the foundation set up for the future for the humanity. On the other hand, it proven us right that what we said, setting up a structure like KF Global has brought the men of finance to listen the truth about their own soul. And this is exactly what we're getting feedback on. The channels tells us this. So we have new listeners, new people who put money and ethos of doing whatever they like ahead of their own lives. And maybe by coming here and they have to listen to it because they tell us which minute to which second we spoke about the word, shows they have to, some points listening today. They listen all the time. They're coming here to value their shares. But here we have no shares. But at the same time, it brings people of men to understand their own souls. Men of money and finance, understanding there is another dimension to the life. And this is amazing in what we see and what we hear. The shareholders of God, he has no banks and he has no company. And we are not a religious group. We are a scientific group who understands the work of the universe. And in so many ways, we have brought the house of God, house of money, and house of man all in one point, that they're all one and none exist in reality in no dimension. On the other hand, in our teachings, we are very, very straightforward. We go ahead with what we thought and what we teach. There is a lot of questions about the new system which has been launched by Keshe Foundation Austria in respect to health unit. This system will be launched to be used in January of 2020. People keep on sending us messages, where can I go, how much it costs? These machines we do not own. even if your partners in supporting the doctors to set up the health centers around the world, are operated and owned by organizations, by companies who bought or buy this system from us. They decide the operation, they decide the cost, they decide what type of conditions and the processes they want to use with the system. In the meeting of the world ambassadors on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which is tomorrow in Brasilia, in the country of Brazil, we, in the presence of a number of world ambassadors who have confirmed will attend, and the national, what we call delegations which attend the conference, will explain a new system which will shock the world of science in another way. This system will be offered to the governments at 100 million euro per system. This system is not for public use. This system will go up to 100 million, up to 1 billion cost to set up. We already have nations who have shown interest to produce. I told you, Keshe Foundation is moving in a different directions as still covers the basis. This is the technology belongs to us as Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers and Keshe Foundation organization to our organization Keshe Foundation Austria. The technology will be disclosed to the governments tomorrow, and the price tag, the basic start, is $100 million, euros. And we go to 1 billion for a full system. This is, it will be disclosed to the world ambassadors and governors of the country of the Brazil. And from then on, we repeat in the following meeting in the Kingdom of Morocco in December. And then we go on to our meetings in Malta, Iran, and other nations as we travel along and we what we call, we explain and develop and release more technologies. At the same time, as I said before, the Keshe Foundation, our operation as you've been the loyal supporters, and you always supported the shops and what we call the small items which we brought to confirm the technology exists. A new range of products will be launched in the next few days, weeks. Hopefully we try to be there before Christmas. As I said, all the patches and the foot, what you call it, whatever you bought from the foundation before, will go at €9.99 and 19.99 euro. We will not be those prices of 120 and 49 and 69. We bring the price down that becomes reachable by every man, that he can use it, that we serve both ways. Who can use it, and will go the same. Those distributors who want to come back to Keshe Foundation and went to Italy, we have no room for those who betrayed us. Please do not request to come back and be a distributor. We mass produce, and as you are part of the Keshe Foundation, you sell the goods of the Keshe Foundation, you took the website of the Keshe Foundation and copied it down to do it. We link you to our website because by contractual agreement, you are one of our distributors. So we put our price at $9.99 and we show your price as $49 and $59. Decision has to be by the customer, not by betrayal. Now you understand what I told you. I don't damage you, I don't do anything. But there's one thing which most of the Keshe Foundations do not understand. In my work as a scientist in past 20 years, I've been an international businessman in clearing houses of Europe for over 40 years. I know where to look, what to look, and how to do business. I ran chains of retail shops and many .coms on very much like Yahoo, or what you call very much like Alibaba. I owned the first .coms on the internet in 1990s. I know the game. I trusted people would trust the Keshe Foundation, will support and do what was our ethos. But now I show I'm not just a scientist, not just a developer, I'm a very shrewd businessman. And I tell the Keshe Foundation supporters, the profit margin for us is good enough to carry on as the past. All the patches and the pads, everything will be around $9.99, $19.99. And as is the ethos of the foundation, we show and support all our supporters. So the websites of those distributors who betrayed,
will be shown on the Keshe Foundation link. You have a choice. You can buy a product for $9.99, or you can buy a product for $29 or $49. But I guarantee you one thing, there is a new revolution in the industry of retail through Keshe Foundation. I told you, I don't take nothing, but I'm a businessman much, much better than anybody else. I know the game of retail very well. I trusted, I gave, betrayed. I have no problem. A man should be strong enough to take a punch. I took a punch. Keshe Foundation is all. We all did. None of us received our goods for months while they were setting up parallel. I have no problem. Man has to be strong enough to stand up. I respond, and I put foot the slips. Keshe Foundation will sell $9.99. All the patches, all the knee bands, knee patches, arm patches will be at $9.99 and $19.99. One item, maximum two. You cannot order. We give 25 cents and 50 cents commission to the what they call retailers. Our goods cannot be sold on other websites. It has to be developers and the customers of Keshe Foundation. We deliver from the beautiful nation of China directly to all our customers. And we can go down to even lower prices and we still can make profit. You have to understand, as I said, we are here to serve humanity and not to be served. Keshe Foundation Austria will become the center point with the retail of the Keshe Foundation. I do apologize to all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers and supporters who bought goods and did not receive, and we have refunded you. We have put into operation massive refunds, and most of the refunds has been met. I do apologize, your stock ordered is still getting delivered through Keshe Austria, what you ordered a year ago, which was not shipped, for all the reasons we understand why. And for this reason, I apologize from you. Thousands, tens of thousands were held back. Now we meet the demand. And all our goods will be European certified materials and goods. In the coming weeks and months, we'll show you a new range of products. What this means, we are in the process, and the discussion started very past, literally hours, that we introduce a new material for everything else we do, from agriculture to clothing. The time of patches and time of putting other things is over. Hopefully our team will confirm the development in the next couple of weeks, and you do not need any more patchwork. We have developed, hopefully, a process which I've been after for years, and our team in China has managed, hopefully, to put it together, and we see the results soon, that we can and we deliver a new technology. Again, that's for the what we call open market retail side. As much as I'm putting effort to change the direction, like the what we call the enhancement unit, which is announced recently, and we are meeting a lot of success. And then at the same time, these new products of agriculture and other environmental and the others, what I just explained, will be presented tomorrow in the Brazilian city of Brasilia for the government. The ambassadors, attendees, and the other governments will take and will step by step will deliver. The next system, which will be offered to the governments, will be around about 1 billion beginning prices for governments. These are the things which governments have been waiting for to change the course of their work. The intellectual right and the development belongs to Keshe Foundation Austria, which is owned by Totality, by Keshe Foundation, on the ethos of the agreed signed 20 years ago, passing of intellectual rights. Any order comes from other sides, works on the basis of before. On the other hand, we develop technologies which brings both, as you did with, and you saw us with, giving the keys to the governments and then giving the knowledge to the knowledge seekers. Now we have set up two ways. The next step for us is working with governments. The technology is delivered. We will deliver a 500-page documents to the governments in the presentation of the next 3 days. for what it is and what most of governments are seeking for. Is actually what we give them is a fraction of what they're spending at the moment to do what this technology does much easier. You got to understand, as I said, Keshe Foundation is rich in knowledge, is rich in technology, and is rich in experience, both sides, be it on commercial, be it on scientific. We have no problem. I never had a problem. Maybe that's why I was trained to be, for 20 years, while I was developing the technology, a businessman, that I could stand a little punch from little ants in the country of Italy. I don't take revenge. A businessman should be man enough to stand up and see where he made mistakes and who he mistrusted. He shouldn't have trusted. And I tell you one thing, I can sell products at gift value of $199 and I still make a profit for the foundation. That's as simple as that. And the profit margin we make on the bigger items can support to put at that price as long as the Italian company runs. My message to the distributors who betrayed us is simple: close shop. You never thought Keshe Foundation is so strong. We are, we have, and our team in the Keshe Foundation background responds heavily by knowledge, by expertise. I can put the patches at $199 and I still make profit for the foundation. Keshe Foundation is a non-profit organization. I take what I need to live and live a comfortable life, but I'm not here to hurt no one. And those who damage the foundation stand level by level. All the documents will be passed on to the Italian governments, how we've been treated. That's their decision, how they handle the situation. On the other hand, Keshe Foundation Italy will not close. We'll build it up to 300 million investments inside Italy for the purpose that the dossier has been being prepared and will be concluded with the Italian central government in the coming weeks. I'll be meeting with the officials of government of Italy in next week in Rome for completion of what will be announced in the press. We bring changes to Italy, but not by the betrayal which was done, but by a businessman who knows what to do. If you don't know who I am, go on the Keshe Foundation, go on the international website, Web Wide World, and you will see I own the first .coms. Trading billions in 1990s, 30 millions in 1990s. I know the game of internet. I know how to handle, and I know how to meet. $199, we still can sell. We tell you how correct we are. $999, we sell because it has to cover all costs. $19.99, we sell, have to cover all costs. 200 to 500 new products will be offered by Keshe Foundation, from shoes to hat to clothing to breathing, all in that price bracket range. Watch the space on the Keshe Foundation network retail shop. A new retail e-commerce is in progress for China. We do the same in China. We stay loyal to the nation of China and to the Chinese government. We have no problem in operating Chinese territory. And the Keshe Foundation stays to serve the nation. This is important for those who come to listen. As shareholders of other companies, we are very strong and we show our power and what we do. We know where to go and we know how to do business. Our kindness and softness is not our weakness, is our strength in what we know, what we can do. I don't listen to no market. I listen to no one who issues or writes peer review. Peer reviews are thieves as much as are the shareholders in banks and companies who try to benefit by the work of the Keshe Foundation, but they don't stand next to the Keshe Foundation to sort out the problems which is created by monarchies of thieves. And going back to the teaching, it's very simple. We do not need a few. We need a lot to change a lot. And at the same time, I have no problem. We will develop the technology on the new finding grounds that every man will be benefited by it. In so many ways, the knowledge has to go back into the steps of understanding the universal operation of the systems. As I promised, in April of next year, we will deliver the full spaceship technology in Tehran. I thank the Iranian government and officials who are in the background trying to sort things out. And at the same time, I thank our team in Arizona, who will announce very soon the first locations for the first research and the Health Center of Keshe Foundation cooperation with American partners. At the same time, we thank the state of Arizona officials who are supporting us to set up the first factory as part of the Keshe Foundation Austria in what we call United States. This is the investment by the foundation, and we're not looking into any market to raise funds. What we invest from the Keshe Foundation belongs and is part of the Keshe Foundation totality. Going back to what we are putting, what I call the commercial side aside, because the commercial side is what it pays to bring the whole humanity, that we don't need to build churches and mosques to rob the soul of the man. That's where the problem is. When you try to elevate the soul of the man, you do not need to rob the man. And this has been the tradition by the religions, doesn't matter what you call it. The reason we set up the Keshe Foundation operation and the retail is that we don't need to bring man to trust nothing just because he is in time of pain. He has to understand that the strength comes within him through his soul, and we support him through our ways. The temples and the mosques and whatever mankind made to abuse the soul of the man belongs to the past. We support a full operation to elevate the soul of the man through the operation of the Keshe Foundation and the systems we develop. We earn and we give freely, as we said, to serve. It's a very unusual way to do it, but it works, and we have seen it. I would like to thank all those who support us with the new system we developed and released some 4 weeks ago in Vienna. The success is amazing, and we see more and more of it coming up. As we will show, we expect, we know, these technologies are revolutionary, and it comes, many supporters of the Keshe Foundation are trying to support to put the first systems into operation. We are there to support you. We're receiving calls from different people who are even selling their homes and they want to start their system. We support you. If you go to that length, we go further to complete the mile. If you're putting your house for sale to set up a new center to help the others, Keshe Foundation will do the rest. We try to find a point that totality will work and we change. Going back to the teachings. As you know, every few weeks, by tradition, we open the platform for questions that we balance out. It doesn't become that we just teach and go. If there are any questions, we try to answer in any shape or form. As usual, you know, if I don't like to answer, I don't answer because I don't see a reason to answer. But we try to cover in every aspects, and at the same time, try to move on with looking outwards than looking inwards. In the coming weeks, you will understand the Keshe Foundation, KFSSI education part of teaching will be changed drastically. As you know, we set it up, we start teaching, a lot of people got stuck with nano quoting and the ganses. Now the Keshe Foundation education KFSSI moves to a new dimension. As you are aware, we are scientific, and as they say, till you don't practice, you don't learn. On those bases, the Keshe Foundation, from the first session of the next semester, which is the beginning of the year for us as usual, will start a new way of teaching, a new way of collaboration and cooperation. What we would like to do, the Keshe Foundation teaching group will announce, a new team is getting put together in the background to see this through. What we want to do and what will be done, you have time till that time, to January, to shape it, is we go into research and development. What we would like to do, the knowledge seekers as the students of the Institute You can join for a specific project. So for example, you meet on Monday morning, or Monday is for the day which a team meets, or number of groups can meet on the given date they choose to develop a specific technology. You are interested in electronics, you're interested in plasma, in a space, you're interested in making something for the home, you have the idea. In the group, you decide, you start working on projects, which means you develop new application and understanding, and in the process you learn the whole process of the work of the plasma. It's not just nano coating, it's not just making the gas. You can come up with idea. We put the classrooms in, and together as a team, you agree this is what we want to develop this term, and this is what we want to develop next term. Whatever the group develops, and we see it commercially to be viable to be done, the foundation will support, and knowledge seekers will benefit by its profit. So when you will spend your time in developing, using the other knowledge seekers' knowledge, or collectively as a team, you develop a new technology, a new whatever, then if you decide it's good to be commercialized, it goes back to the foundation. We do it. In a way, we finance the spin-off from the institute. Instead of you going out once you developed it, as usual, finding somebody, you come straight to home. It's your own home. So the Keshe Foundation will start nourishing, is not learning only the ganses, you learn the application of it, you learn how to do it, and you can stop anywhere you like, or you can move to another group, or bring a knowledge from another group to the group you work, and amalgamate, merge different application of the technology. The institute now is coming to its full flourishing. Even we get the new students coming in, they learn very fast because they have to catch up. As the English says, if you don't want to be a tomato, you better catch up. So those who are become as a tomato will soon catch up to become as part of the research. So we are putting those of you, doesn't matter if you're a housewife or you're a taxi driver or you're a professor in the university, you all work together. And so knowledge seekers, KFSSI changes to a new dimension of research and development for knowledge seekers. We are not there to commercialize in any shape. If you decide you can do, you want to do, we help you to do. And those who develop in a group, if they want, they can give it to the foundation the way we work, or we can put a percentage to be given to the knowledge seekers as a financial return. This is how you see your life benefit by it, we have no problem. So the KFSSI from January 2020 will become a research development center. In so many ways, try to gather together or just put ideas and see how many people would like. The classes we run, again, you discuss everything in the classroom, as has been for past 6 years. But at the same time, you can attend other classes in there, other groups who have different ideas, but your team, your group will go and it teaches you, because we have got to the point that nano coating and GANS coating has got to come to an end. And in a way, we have to add to the knowledge, how to apply it. And this brings the application in. In a way, those who want to come in faster or they come too slower, they can do the same. So those of you who want to develop sites, we allow it now, we set the ground for it. You put on the knowledge seekers, the arrangement will be made. These are the topics, these are the things I would like to develop and research with other knowledge seekers. And then the groups will be made in those classes to make it. And then we support you. If you need to, you made it, you want to test it, Keshe Foundation Research Centers will make it to show you if your prototype works. If it's practical, how it is, what's the mistake on it. We'll put part of the operation of KF Austria or what we call Arizona or our Chinese side in this operation to support the knowledge seekers in KFSSI for testing your things. So this is enormous gift to those of you who want to test new things. Everything has to stay under the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. So you produce something, you want it to see to work, you have a plan, you bring your knowledge seekers, let's perfect it, let's see if it works. It could be a dream, but it can become a reality. This is the responsibility of the Keshe Foundation as a knowledge seekers, as we have set up the KFSSI, now gets to another point of maturity. And we see how you do it. What you dream. You ask anybody else. There are institute, universities who like to do research. You don't need to go back and then find for what they call angels. You are your own angel because you put your time into KFSSI, KFSSI return back to. We become your spin-off. We can set up in every shape or form. We are here to benefit the totality and the humanity. If you are anywhere in the world and you can get your goods certified that it's correct, send it to the foundation. We put it on the new shop structure, which we already have, but we expand it and it's going to change to a new e-commerce, hopefully in the next few months. The changes has to come within, and the new structure is, as we are developing and gearing up for the space technology, our people have to start thinking in a bigger dimension and nowhere else than Keshe Foundation. You put your time, your electronics, your mechanical, doesn't matter from which part of the world, work together in these classrooms and build up. Very much what we've done in theoretical and what Rick does on Wednesday mornings, trying to bring people who want to do things. From Rick's teachings or workshops on Wednesdays, you can bring this into the classrooms and see how it develops. And Keshe Foundation, as the head, when we see it, we are supporting. We can support the development. Equipment needs to be bought, things to need to be tested. You bring your dreams to Rick's teachings. We bring the reality of it into the work, if it can be done, and how much it can be extended to. And then in-house, we can test it for you. You can travel to the research centers and test it yourselves. 2 months, 3 months, till you see if it works, if it does. And then as a group, you've done, then you decide. Foundation becomes your spin-off. Or if you want, as usual, as I've done, you give your technology as a gift to the foundation, which is used for humanity. This is the beauty, the way I work, and the way it will be done. So any development will be added to the structure of the foundation. We don't patent your discoveries as is our ethos. It's an open platform, and you'll find out, they'll come back to you the way it's done. This is the new phase, new work for what we call KFSSI. We move away from talking and teaching to bringing practicality. If you are in any line of pharmaceutical, in chemistry, in physics, you want to prove a mathematical data through the work of systems, everything we look, and if you can find partners with you to do it, I think Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers are open-minded that they will support you. Gather together, we arrange Zoom sessions for you that you can work in groups and then bring it for us or anywhere else and become part of your own development and the structure. We follow you up, we give you people who can literally design it for you, you can manufacture samples, and everything else will be done by the foundation to the limit which we can do, and then tested in our research centers. This is the beauty of being one family without no patent. We have to support you, that you don't go out, that they steal or whatever and they patent it before. This way, you're already in the market and the intellectual rights stays humanities. On the other hand, the process of the development of the soul of the man to be able to travel the space of and spans of the universe is where we are heading for. And as it says, the new title, Rick just brought to my attention, that Flynn has put it in, is Knowledge of the Universe. 301st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, Knowledge of the Universe. As I explained, The new technology, the enhancement machine, is not just the enhancement machine. In so many ways, it's for many other developments, which all of us will share gradually as the technology spreads and the technology is used by many, many other people. And hopefully we'll see new changes. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And as usual, the attendees here in the Zoom chat can put up.
Is it, sorry about that, Rick, is it the time to have a look at the new system which we have come in to show? And can we show the video? Next week we add new videos in the back end of this because of the work with the conference in Brazil. There is a delay on what we call the monthly magazine and the videos. You will see new developments with the, what we call with the volunteers. And we will add another person into the development of the videos using the technology with epilepsy. You will see the man who was taking 47 tablets, the 19-year-old boy. Now he's reduced by 30. The doctors saw it as a very too rapid reduction. So what we call the surgeons and the doctors who are supervising the whole case, they decided for 2 weeks rest in reduction. And so we have 17 more tablets left to be reduced. And the supervising team of doctors, they want to slow it down for next 2 weeks, no reduction till the 15th of November. And after 15th of November, we gear back up to reducing the tablets to reduce it within 2 weeks to 0. And this new videos from the new, what do you call it, the old volunteer with epilepsy. And you will see him that he's with his hand shaking, and the way he's changed his way to go to university, what do you call it, to education, will come out, and you'll see changes are huge and changes are positive. And then we'll come to new understandings. Would you like to play the video and then we go to the questions?
Yes, I'll play that.
Okay. Before you go on, I want to show you something very interesting. Rick, I sent you a few images.
Yes. Okay, yes. I'll get that ready. Okay,
if you can put those up, please. This is very nice what we share with you as we've been around. If you remember about 4 years ago, I released some videos in south of Italy. On the Thursday, we spoke about what we call the spaceships covering the sites on the line of horizon. And the Italian military were trying to find, and we posted a video of the blocking of the sun, this picture, if you remember. When we arrived and we landed in Brazil, in Brasilia, this immediately appeared in the skies of Brasilia. Welcoming home. There's a number of pictures, there are videos taken by us and by the knowledge seekers. And this is when we landed. It moved with us to the hotel and was in the air for some times. It's videoed by 2 or 3 of the Keshe Foundations and people who've been underground, they've seen it. We are home. And this is the second time. And as I said, if you remember, in Italy we showed it, and this is in the skies of Brasilia this week. You see the brightness and you see the full structure, what is in the sky. We have full videos of it, a number of videos have been taken. And it's interesting to see who and where it follows us to. You can play the video, please. This is a daylight lunchtime in Brasilia this week.
Okay, are you ready there, Flint?
Yes.
Okay.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Okay, thank you, Flint. Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Did you want the long video played? I was unsure.
Okay. Mr. Keshe, we're not able to hear you. Your microphone is
We need the
mute.
best
There we
part
go.
of it. Can you hear? We need the best part of it.
The last part, the
last
long
part,
version.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go for the long version.
Okay.
That would be good.
One moment.
You can go forward after the machine.
Yes.
This, the while they're trying to load up, the gentleman now has got 2 more tablets left to finish. The doctors wanted to relay it for another week till we settle with it. Hope will be without what we call medication by end of next week. But the interesting we'll find out is, and we have seen in development, is that how much and why the people with Parkinson and Alzheimer's and the rest get, in a way, reverse backed in the structure of the brain. What we see now with this gentleman is very, very strange. While he can run and everything else, we see the progress of the development of the reversal. The body has shut everything down, and we see very much in the people who have had the side effect of the medicine while they've been ill, as nobody has ever come back from Parkinson. This is one of the things, for the first time, we see the actual damages of the Parkinson, of the medication, is that the physical basic structures like walking, like standing up, like talking, goes back the way we see babies. You remember when your children grow up, how the first crawl comes in, how the first walking on the hands and knees comes in, how the first standing up comes in, and then the language comes in. We are seeing this with the patients. So they are going through literally a whole process. Even they remember the names and everything else. The brain is restructuring itself through the whole birth and the growth process, which is very, very interesting for us. By covering both sides, the adult growth and what has brain literally shut down, which we learn as babies. And it's a very interesting development scientifically we are looking at. And the beauty of it is, the brain is developing a second time.
Could I say something about that, Mr. Keshe?
The thing is, we have our Italian friends in the background shouting something.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Keshe is Stefania. Can you hear me, or is not clear?
Yeah, you popped in. Carry on. That is usual your way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to make because it's very interesting what you just said just now, and it's very true in a sense that the way we work, for example, I don't know if you know, I'm doing a lot of neural rehabilitation, and there is a method that actually does that. The brain, that's why children all over the world, they crawling, rolling, doesn't matter which language, which background, from wherever they come from, they all doing the same steps from the moment they born to the moment they walk, and those steps are literally brain development. So exactly what you said just now. So when the brain have to be, because the brain is like a tree, and it can regenerate itself, like you always said. So the brain, to reform these branches, we have to go through all these steps. So I use this when I have to help people to walk again, talk again. We have to make it go through to the rolling, then crawling, then exactly the steps, because I literally, those steps are brain development. So and they are fixed. So it's very, so it goes very in line with what you said. And it's a method called Feldenkrais method. It was a scientist who was study brain function, and it's exactly what you said now, that those steps are essential for regain the movement back and everything back. Yeah, you have to redo the whole children path. And
we got 5 months of growing up.
Yeah, and if there is the interesting things is that if a baby from the mothers doesn't be allowed to crawl, he will have problem for life, or is not allowed to roll, or they're not allowed to those steps. So the steps are essentials, yeah, for regain movement back. Yeah, I just wanted to say this because I just want to add on top of what you just said, that it's as the brain regain movement back. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As you know, she is specialized in these kind of works, and she works in different countries. As a member of the Universal Council for Italian, she's got a lot of other talents, and that's part of her work, rehabilitation and getting people back to physical life, normality. Thank you very much. In so many ways, what we see now, our volunteers go through the same process. And in so many ways, these are the things we didn't know. And it's very hard to get the families to understand. As I said very recently, we have a very big problem. You see in the movies, the guy wakes up from a coma and next day is off the bed running and whatever. This does not happen in reality with coma patients and Parkinson patients and others. It takes time to build up. It takes time to rehabilitate. It takes time to do everything right. We've seen some people trying to show magic that it can do, but when you go to the long term, scientifically has shown that there are huge damages, as we just heard. You have to go through the process. You cannot just change and get up and go, because the physical damages in the future is beyond imagination in what is done in a short time. It's very interesting how we develop, and as we hear and we see this, we'll have more volunteers. Keshe Foundation has contracted himself and signed himself to a new, what we call clinical trials. And this will be announced. If you want to be part of these clinical trials, still you have to pay for it, but you'll go on the observation of the doctors, and we set up the what we call criterion for it. A clinical trial for Parkinson needs 30 patients. It can be from outside China or inside China, and you join what we call the trial group. In the coming weeks, it will be announced. And we, for the first time, we will do what we call autism, again, on the clinical trials. And then we do what we call epilepsy. And in the next 12 months, a number of clinical trials will start in China under supervision as a standard clinical trials. And you can join this. These will be testing these units under the supervision of the officials and hospitals and what we call ethic committees to start registering and creating the basis for the confirmation of the technology. We have what they call signed the first agreement. It was done this morning. And so we go through the next steps, and in the coming next few weeks, we will announce that you can join the clinical trials. Not only we put the centers around the world, now we bring the dimensions of what we call structure to it. And then the systems will develop further as we go deeper into it. The new systems, as we will unveil this week and in Brasilia, essentially for the government, this will go through its own structural system in the coming months. And then we go back into the next step to show more effective way of using these universal system. And as a Iranian friend of mine said once to me, we call it, the French spanner, which you just roll the thing and you can adjust any bolt and nuts. This universal system is very much we call a French spanner. Depends what you adjust it, is what you'll get out of it. A food system, a material production system, a system for any kind of diseases, or even a system for producing anything that you might need that doesn't need physicality and tangibility. Are you ready, Flint?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, connected to what you just said before. So, even when the tissue of the brain is completely healthy, you still need to remake the neural pathways. So that's why then you have to go through again the whole process of the movement of the child from when he's born to when he's walk. So for this reason, I'm actually in the background in Italy side. I'm trying to make like a team of people that then I will, put together that specialize on this to help to make people recovering from neural condition. They are know how to make those steps. So because I thought it will really work well with what we're doing now. So I will keep you informed.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, just to let you know
Go ahead,
this.
Flint.
Ah!
Okay, that's the end of the video.
Great, thank you,
Thank
Flint.
you. Thank you very much, Flint. Any questions?
There's a number of questions. First of all, Jeanette's had her hand up for quite some time, so perhaps we'll let her go ahead. And then there's a number of questions in the Q&A. Hello, Jeanette. I see your microphone's open.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Ginette Orozco. I am talking on behalf of the Spanish group, who one of its members has a question for you. I'm going to refrain it to you, and I will then get off the line so I can translate to them. The question is this: once you have the machine, how is going to be the protocols depending on each of the cases of the patients that are being treated? How would you manage that? And do you need to maintain the treatments Saturdays and Sundays?
The protocol will be set through the doctors. Can you hear me? The opening hours set by the people who bought the machine. And the protocol for each is how to use it and what it needs will be set by the operating manual. The charges and opening hours and whatever else depends on the people who bought the systems and how they want to operate it. You can run these machines 24 hours a day. You got to realize on an 8-hour shift, on a 24-hour shift, maximum patient can use this machine is 12. So 10 patients per day, 24-hour run if they do is the maximum. And we know that in the coming time, these machines and the illnesses which mankind suffers from will change quite a lot. And in so many ways, you will find out a lot of people will not use these machines just because they're sick. They use machines for, as we say, to tune their physicality. This is one of the things which will come very advanced. We use these machines for feeding. We will use these machines for creating materials. We use these machines for all sorts of applications. The protocol for each one will be set out, and what we call everything else is in the hand of the operators. The beauty with it is that in the coming months, the backup medical team will set up, which is now in the progress, things has to be done for it, is that 24 hours a day, there is a team of medical people specializing more and more as they learn themselves through cases, sitting in the background, supporting the doctors case by case. This needs, I mean, even now as I'm talking to you, the progress in China is ongoing, and I see notes coming up, videos coming up. The last video has been just about 40 minutes ago. There's a central operating system. Doctors will be advised because we monitor everything. Nobody can just buy the machine and go in it. As we said, it's got eyes, it's got fingerprint, and we'll have another additional unit added to it that only can be used for that patient for the condition set. This is not just something we just put out. Everything is controlled. Every data, everything of every patient worldwide will go into a database that we add, we see, as we said, set up patterns for it. We have, let's say, we estimate something like 2,000 machines will be delivered next year. In these 2,000 machines, every patient, even if you use, let's say, 5 patients per machine, every quarter, they'll say 20 patients a year, then you have a huge data bank. It will give us a full spectrum of the operation and everything else, but there's a team behind it. Team of doctors with a team of physiotherapists. This is all paid for through that 30% charge of the system usage by patient. The, the, the structure is to find all applications and see the best ways to use it. The best ways the results will come out. This is not, we are not just selling a unit. We are selling a lifestyle, a technology. We're selling a way that mankind will live. As I said before, the systems on board of ships or on planet Moon does not worth dollars. You cannot buy dollars in planet Moon or Mars, worth no money. So we have to learn all of it. And unfortunately, human beings have made these funny things called the money thing. And this is the only way we can develop it and extend it. And don't forget, we are not looking at this knowledge, we are looking at the man's collective knowledge over past centuries, thousands of years, that we can convert it into application through the plasma technology.
Mr. Keshe, Doug asks, is this, speaking of ancient times, is this process what ancient cultures called second birth or rebirth?
I don't know, it's not a microwave to reheat, is it?
Well, you mentioned it takes you back to that state of being in the womb, so it's sort of from that state, I guess.
So when you go back the third time, it comes a rebirth after rebirth. When you go back the Monday morning and the Tuesday afternoon, this is new technology. Is actually not a new technology. This is a knowledge which we know in the universe, and now you will see it shared. A larger scale operation of this will come, as I said. What you can't feed people in space and take God knows bananas and chips and the rest of it. You can imagine how much you'll be tracking for a 1,000-year trip. We even have, as somebody has said before, NASA has no choice but to look, and we call it a new name for it. Instead of NASA, we call it PASA, which means the Plasma National Aviation Group, because the plasma technology will take over. And it doesn't belong to one nation, it belongs to all of us to do. And it's what we're going to need, because it's not a rebirth. However, you got a rebirth on the moon and Jupiter and planet Zeus. It's something which I think mankind will understand in a very short time. When going to space, especially if he stays with his physical body, these machines become essential part of life that you pay a regular visit to extract any space field energies, what we call viruses, that might attach to your body.
Should it not be actually like built right into the structure of the spaceship? It should automatically sort of compensate. Or does it have to be on an individual tailored sort of basis?
It's both ways. You got to realize that hopefully the gravitational lift system, which will show in the beautiful city of Tehran, will show that we create a new environment inside the craft. It's like, it doesn't matter what happens in the space of the solar system. Earth has created its own environment and it controls its own destiny of what is created inside it. The spaceships are of the same way. You will understand very soon, going back to the maglev systems, going back to the star formation systems, going to the plasma systems, the new systems which will come out of the space technology, which is amalgamation of whatever we thought, will show you creation of the specific condition for a human life. Not every type of life can exist within the spacecraft. I remember a very specific time when I landed in Tehran the second time with the head of Tehran Space University. In the back of the car, he was so enthusiastic. At that time, they flew a rat into space and everything. He says, we done this and we done this and the tests are this. And I said to myself, sitting in the back of the car, if I tell you what I know, you won't be so happy, because Iran managed to put rat or animals into a space and see how they behave, as most of the space agencies do at the first steps. The reality is that we go into the next step. We go into the direction of, do we need even to go into these understanding the structure of the elevation of the field, of the strength of the soul of the man? This is those, as I said, has been very difficult. Soul existed, but we know it's the son of the man, it's the sun, the center of the life creation, so we can interact with it. And if we can elevate the strength of the soul of the physicality, which is the connection of the fields of the body of the man, to be the same as the soul of the man, then you understand the physicality become part of the soul. And what we call interatomic fusion, I call it. In so many ways, we become part of. Do I want to live in the physical dimensions with all these pitfalls, or I stay in the dimension of the fields, and in time I decide? Or do we chicken out? We live a physical life. The minute we have a cancer, we jump into the machine. I go into the soul, the strength and the strength of the sun, that my physicality doesn't get touched, and I chicken back out when it's all sorted. This is a part of understanding of the whole creation.
Can you give us some idea of how you see the conditions inside this egg-shaped chamber? Like, for example, in terms of normally as humans, we hear with our ears, we see with our eyes. Would sound be cut off from the outside? Would it be totally soundproof inside, first of all? And second of all, would there be certain sounds or music or some sort of, a tone or something like that that would be created?
We see interaction of the field. Wherever you have a rubbing of a hand or a surface on it, you call it a break on the street. It's the interaction of the matter state magnetic fields of two different strengths, one stationary and one rolling. The same shall be in the space with respect to interaction of the fields of the universe with the craft. The strangest part is that we only hear what is our ears are adjusted, or our soul is adjusted to hear. You've seen the old movie, the guy blows a whistle, nobody hears, but the dog reacts, because it's at the tune and strength of the ear of the dog. It's the same. When you go to the soul level of soul, at what the strength your soul is prepared or has been tuned to receive information. There is no difference than the body of the man. Otherwise, the soul will be ever busy with all the noises growing across the whole universe. Are you tuned to listen to me? Or are you tuned to listen to mom? Or are you tuned to listen to music? And the soul, at the level of its interaction in its environment, decides its strength it listens. There's not a voice listening.
Well, could the machine, in effect, be set up to provide that dog whistle to the soul, you might say, and the physicality may not hear it, but yet it calls their soul? And because isn't that the focus of the machine, is to bring people to their soul, essentially, to make that,
if they choose
that earlier, if they
choose.
Shouldn't that be part of the conditions, you might say, or like you need to have some introductory video or introductory program or something that lets them know this is what we're getting into in this machine?
I think
that's part of what you do in these broadcasts too. You're telling people, we're connecting. You said it earlier today. You warn the shareholders you might be connecting with your soul and you know, that could be a big
I
deal.
think that was a very big shock to the stock exchange market people, huh? Now we have a religious company, soul services. No,
well,
but
you said right after that it's not religious. This is a scientific connection, but
yeah,
see,
because what
you
I understand, no, because I had one of our guys pulling his head off. You know what they're saying? You said the wrong thing. They got to learn everything in this place is the right thing. It's you who's wrong, and you got to adopt your way. So we see a lot of ways they're not used to it. They get used to it. They can't come here and say, oh, they came out with a machine. They signed a contract with this company. Yes, but it belongs to Keshe Foundation Manufacturing, Austria. Our make Keshe Foundation Manufacturing Austria, one of the most powerful companies in the world, owned by the foundation, in the hand of the foundation, decided by members of the foundation. As I said to the head of the Keshe Foundation past couple of days, being with me in Brazil, that I'm handing over, and she has to learn to be just, to be correct, to be a mother to the foundation, even as a young girl, and to understand that the Keshe Foundation is here to serve humanity, not profit some. The foundation is in the hand of a very beautiful girl. She's well rounded, and she has all the talents of being and heading the foundation with her young age. And in so many ways, we have to understand this, that we are responsible for the foundation, every one of us. I look at the refunds, which was sitting around because of the misconduct of those in Italy. And I said to Caroline, you know, these guys sat 2 years supporting us. Even some of them pulled their head off when they got angry. We are doing this, we done that wrong. They understood the problem does not come from Mr. Keshe. The problem comes from Keshe Foundation in the structure. When one is busy with something, the others have to carry. And as we have reissued all the refunds back and everybody understands where the problem came, is interesting that you trust in yourself. And this shows a great, what they call, gratitude to all of you. I know a lot of you shouted and howled, what's happening, blah, blah, but now you've seen. And I kept very quiet about it. And I accepted it till 3 weeks ago, that there was something wrong. But when I realized that foundation was betrayed right inside, they took the list of the customers, they took the list of the what you call distributors we set up, and they didn't deliver to those who had to deliver, and the excuse was they cannot do, but they were doing very well in the company. They set up themselves and they bought their BMWs and the rest of it. I'm making 0 Ws from the BMWs. You don't know who I am, and I'm not forgiving. And I'll go directly to the police and the structure to Italy, because they made a very bad threat. Bringing a company who is financed by the foundation to of €2 million is not a game to play. We are foreign investors. And you cannot do this. Maybe the Italians think they can go away. I have a cousin, my uncle is the police federal, they go there, and I have a big police connections. Counts for 0. Because we collected all the data. Go to your uncle, sir, and go to the police friends. We sit very strong with the Italian government, and the document shows. This is how foundation is. What you did as knowledge seekers in the past 2 years, they stood by us, and they stood by the foundation, your own structure. You understood. This shows your strength, your belief was correct, and we responded back. We covered all the damages. It doesn't take us long. But it was a good test for all of us. How much do we believe in? How much do we stand for? And this goes to our soul. This goes to our strength. You've got to understand the data accounting is very clear with the foundation. And in so many ways, How come you can turn millions in a company? You took all the customers and what do you call it, structure which all of us work to build, and then you try to put people in prison because you didn't pay me. Well, of course, you stole everything from the foundation, and now you can't. You don't. You took everything, and how come you're paying wages for yourself, and you buy BMWs? You couldn't afford the food on your table when we employed you. I am ruthless. I don't forgive and I don't forget, because if I do, foundation becomes weak. Foundation stays strong because it's correct. We have no problem. We don't cry. As I said, these guys has got to go into the machine. As of next couple of weeks, you will buy the Keshe Foundation. Whatever you had in Keshe Foundation, which could, you were buying, you get a better product in the next few weeks at a price that nobody can match. I can stand losses for 3 years because foundation has it. And I go worldwide. Because they sign an agreement for our agents, we can promote their agencies and show what they're selling at what price. Cannot be cancelled. And then we understand how to operate. We understand how to elevate their souls. And this is the way they have to do it. I thank all of you as Keshe Foundation supporters. Being away in China, trying to develop the backbone of the foundation to be equal in every nation. And now we go to India to support the same way. When you leave a home, you don't rob a house, you build a house. We were robbed as a foundation by a bunch of Italian thieves. And I show my way. My documents are sitting with the Italian government. 300 million investments, plus what has been done wrong to us, and how it was organized. A company in December taking tens of thousands, and suddenly in January, zero. And 6th of January, opening a new company in Italy on the Polish and Bulgarian accounts. These things used to be passed. Now everything's very straight on there. I don't fight. Keshe Foundation responds. I told you, pray. When I told the distributors, think of your children, because nothing will come from the foundation to feed your family. You had a very good income because you match 199, 499 euros. I owned the tempotshop.com in England in 1990s. I know how to button. That's what it was. It was no threat, because they had to go and start cleaning up whatever they did, because these people put everything there to support the girls who betrayed. Now they have to do it. Now you understand how they have to answer to the soul of the children when there's no food on the table. Not from the foundation. And it's our right to promote them, because they got the job the way as distributors through Keshe Foundation. And we have signed documents. All the what we call agents have signed an agreement with the Keshe Foundation. It's not just that they're there. Every page by page of the Keshe Foundation website has been stolen and been put. If you can do so well in your name, I couldn't do so well in the name of the foundation, unless you stole from the foundation. We are very big and we respond. I leave nothing to be cleaned up. They clean it up themselves. And then we send them to the machines. This is what our distributors and those who work around the foundation have to do. You work with us the same as we did. I explain everything as it happens, at the time it happens. And I think the stock market needs to change a lot. Coming here and then going, and between 2 hours and 2:05, you said such a thing that can stock share change. This is Keshe Foundation. We can talk is our investment. We invested. The stock, what do you call, Keshe Foundation Global, where it is, it's ours. We can speak at home between husband and wife, between the children. We're all children of the same family. They can't come here, listen, and go gossip behind you. Said, yes, we can talk at home. This is our home. Knowledge Seekers programs is our home. We can talk to each other, tell what's happening. They can't come and listen. I heard a whisper on the wall. They have to learn. They come here not to affect them. They come here because we are open. They become part of us. And as they say, when they learn, they understand their own ways. Now you understand when I said we all change the whole structure of mankind. And now you understand bit by bit. Now we got stock marketers, people coming here listening to knowledge seekers. And I'll give you a very clean evidence of it. They write and give up messages. You said this, yes, we can. It's your mistake you put your ear to the phone. This is not the White House that you can go and gossip afterwards that you might change the president. The president of this organization is all of us. Sorry about the stock market holders. You have to understand, you don't come to a house to go to gossip and do something with it. This is our home, you in truth. We can talk. I can tell what my son inherits because we are all son of the same family in this place. Not to come and listen and go sue us, take us to the courts in the United States. We defend, you came into our home. We didn't come to yours. Next question.
Okay, thank you.
Hear me? Sorry, Mr. Keshe. I have another question for you from the same knowledge seeker, which is Victor Vicente. He wanted to raise a concern. He has been trying to get a hold of the persons in charge of delivering the unit, and he has been unable to do that. Could you please give us a better way so that
what do you mean? There are two lines set up because we are trying to structure things. Depends what they want to know where they can go. When we're getting emails, a lot of people saying, I have this disease, I have that disease, where can I go? There is no way you can go. Listen to the teaching. Till January when the machines come in, yeah, they can be done. I have this disease, I want to know how much I pay. Listen to what it, unless you're an investor, you want to buy a machine, or as a group you want to invest, at this moment we can tell you. After 1st of January, the systems are 500,000. We are not coming back down. After 1st of the March, it's 1 million. We're not coming back down. And we have enough to support us through. And don't forget, the Keshe Foundation will start supporting people who are there to support their community. And it's every way, it's not Keshe Foundation when we can say, we see the operation, we see what it is. You want to invest part of it, we invest. Anything else to do, what diseases can it do? Can I have this? Can I? At this moment, those questions have to wait till the people start operating the centers and the machinery. And they decide, they look at the profit margin. We look at the moment.
Sorry, sir, it's not, excuse me, Mr. Keshe, it's not that they have issues in terms of how the operation should be. It's more that they have not been able to contact the right person to place an order.
The order, you go to the Keshe Foundation website now. There is a system there. You place your order, within 5 seconds we get it. Go on the Keshe Foundation website, the machine has been put there. And like everybody else, the minute you fill in the form, within 5 seconds will come to us, the people responsible, we see it. The order, we know there is a lot of orders coming in. There is tons of orders coming in. We try to give priority to certain groups, individuals who want to spread it around the world. You just fill in the form and you get response from us. The conditions, 30% of your income from the machine, from source, belongs to the foundation because you get all the backing and everything else. We are introducing new systems to back these things up, new apparatuses, new things. I just saw a beautiful system yesterday in Brazil by one of the inventors. We are putting it in the process. If we can do, if we can market it, that will supplement the other part of it. There is a form, just go through the form. Everybody else is doing it. Just Keshe Foundation website. I think, Rick, can you put the website up on the screen? There you can go in it, the machine is there, fill in the form. There is no problem with ordering, there is no problem with anything else. I had a discussion with Caroline just a few minutes ago. We're going to put a question and answers up on the website. People who want to, if you have questions about the machine and the systems, it's very straightforward. We are trying, we hope that we can meet the demand in coming weeks and months. We can go up to about 1,000 units a month, international. And we're trying to push it beyond that. We have to set up new ways. And we can meet. We don't see any, but you got to understand new technologies that didn't deliver, like the one what we're going to explain and show to the governments in this weekend. These will take a bigger part of the whole operational foundation. There is something which Keshe Foundation followers have to understand. I come from an industrial background, not myself, but my family. We know how to run industries. But the beauty of it is everything is in one house, the knowledge, the commercial side and everything else. And I don't shoot up in the black getting something. I know exactly what I do. The only mistake I made, I trusted a couple of Keshe Foundation supporters to look after the house while I was away. I didn't leave it to get the house right. And we should go very, very nicely from now on, the way we set up. I've taken charge of the whole thing again, where I wanted to retire. We have a beautiful team. You have most devoted people to the foundation. You have Rick, you have Ella, you got Stanley, you got the whole team of the Keshe Foundation in the background who work with us. We don't stop working. You got Dr. Gatwa, you got everybody else in the background which is around the foundation. We work relentlessly. Some of us don't sleep, work day and night. For who? For serving the foundation, for serving, helping mankind. So try to understand everything we do is available, it'll be done. Hiccups we sort out. The other things is you, that's what when I explained to the Universal Council people that you have to come in and learn how to deal with the global south and got offended. We are here not to support the foundation, not to do anything economical. How do you want to run Universal Council and an office and where the money comes from the sky or the pie? Or you bring governments and organizations who give you money and dictate your terms, which has been up to now. Nobody can dictate to none of the Keshe Foundations how we operate. We are one of the most strongest scientific organizations in the world, and we're becoming more and more powerful. Power in the hand of people who are correct and just. And this is the beauty of what I set up. A lot of you don't see it. Gradually, step by step, we will get we make a lot of mistakes. If we don't make mistakes, I saw to the head of Keshe Foundation, if you don't mistake, there is something wrong with you. Because by not making mistakes, by not knowing, we find there's another way. We have to do it. You see it, you do it, we help you to develop it. And we're making the foundation reachable by all of us. Not by some of us, but by all of us. But in the process, some are used to someone else. I've seen a lot of discontent people in Universal Council. We came here not to do this and that. How can you, as Universal Council members, not to be involved, understanding who finances you, how the finance comes, and don't attend the conferences and see how you have to deal with the people who are governing the people who you are responsible for their soul. You don't go there and you have to understand the work of the people who set up to make them just that your people, the people of what you're responsible for, don't suffer. This is a shortcoming understanding of the members of Universal Council. A few of them grunting, we came here to do, we don't. No, it means you haven't understood the whole ethos. Your job is to support humanity in every shape or form. Not just to be said, we are not making a bunch of more popes and Vaticans and mosques and priests and mullahs. And this has to be understood. They're already forgotten why they're here for. When you want to cook, you go in the kitchen of the chef and you learn what's everything for, that you know what the tools are and which vegetable to use. Not to sit there, serve me, I know how to cook, we never been to the kitchen. The members of the Universal Council have to get involved with governments, have to get involved with the factories. They see where the hiccups are, where it can be done, how even the soul of the people in the factories, as much as the workers and the members of the government who govern them, have to be elevated to understand each other. It means our Universal Council members are not mature yet. And that's part of the process. I told you the transition time will be a lot of difficulties for a lot of different Keshe Foundation supporters. The same we saw in Germany, we saw in France. We had problems, we sorted out a lot of them. Oh, we're not coming because so be it. Foundation is much bigger. Foundation never got attacked more rigorously and dangerously than when we were on attack when we opened the Sterling file with all the Peter files, and all his supporters who lost their income jumped out. Yeah. When did Sterling came out? Who jumped most? Red Circle, Susan, Hope. These are all the traffickers. They got damaged financially. Why do you think suddenly all the things appeared on the internet? Because we were correct. There was no enemies till we cut the what they call the lifelines of bread of trafficking children. If you look, the guy who helped with all the books, with everything else, suddenly jumped off. Why? Because where his income came and the other part got touched. And then we saw all of them start working together. You remember? How much we got told, whatever, they all got together. They thought the foundation is much bigger than them. Nobody understood why Red Circle went that way. And you saw giving interviews to Hope, to Susan, and they were all trying to salvage something from what they lost on the trafficking. They lost 120,000 customers, which are on the list of the federal's national governments. You understand? The shop collapsed. We're still here. Very interesting thing is, when you go to the sites or the chat rooms that these guys are still out trying to operate, they've lost everybody. It's themselves creating new names and answering themselves because nobody is dead. Everybody knows who they are. And we saw the same, the guy from the university in Germany writes everything because he's part of it. There are a bunch of people who lost their income they used to take. When you're in university, you see the young people and then you pass names. Where do you think he got his income from? Do you want us to open more books? 90% of people who write in down whatever about Keshe Foundation and different names are all bunch of connected to the Peter file groups of Alan Sterling, and they've been financially touched. And I'm happy we took it, but at least we elevate their souls. And this is what you have to understand. It's not just coming here and going. You have to understand, as a foundation, because we were here, we came across a position, and as a whole, we understood and we stood and we cleaned up. I say to you, one thing you have to understand. I said it last week, and I've said it many times. The guy who shoots a bullet shares the responsibility of the pain of the family of the one who killed and the others with the guy who designed the bullet, who manufactured the bullet, who sold the bullet. Keshe Foundation has a lot, all of you who stood by us when we got the Sterling and Red Circle and Hope and Susan and Sylvester and the rest of them. We saved many children's lives from suffering and families. You received the blessing, not us. You stood, you understood, you taught, you carried on with. The same as the guy who shot the bullet. It's the same as you who saved their lives. many children from suffering. Nobody understood that Red Circle was sitting at the webmaster in the Keshe Foundation, and he was seeing all the traffic of the young people coming, new energy, new energy. You do not know how he operated. Biggest evil on this planet. He always wanted to get, oh, I've got to be the webmaster. I couldn't understand why. Now we understand. You got to understand, new technology, space technology attracts young people. And he was sitting there and grabbing. Anyone you see in chat rooms with these people, you know they're all pedophiles. And they praise each other, and most of it is themselves just creating new names, because the topic and the language in all of them is the same. So the same man writes. I'm very open. They tell me my chair's creaks. Sorry about that. We are in a hotel, creaky hotel, so you have to understand it this week. I have a creaky chair. So you got to understand, we are here with everything, the knowledge, the gain of knowledge, the share of knowledge, the helping each other. And I'm very open. A lot of people don't like my openness, but has been the key to our success. Because at the beginning we get hurt, but then when we sit and think about it, there is some steps we have to change. We see many things happening around the foundation, and I'm very open about it, because from next sessions we start teaching about the soul in depth. A lot has got to be spoken, not to kept on the carpet. We're rots. When we speak, we understand where we are, where we can develop. And foundation is entering a new phase, it's growing up. The childish stages and the teenage stages is over. You're dealing with governments, and we need you to be there to carry on. Keshe Foundation cannot be everywhere. We expected very, as I said, I wanted about 20, 30 people in conferences that we interface our knowledge seekers. It's not just the governments and the politicians and the diplomacy. But in Brazil has gone beyond what we expected. I'd like the Brazil Keshe Foundation supporters for their conference and the effort they put into it, especially Claudia and Rafael and people who are there to do it. They'll go to Morocco next month. They go to other places. We come with a support team to do everything else. But then it brings the governments, and they see a reality. Then it's not just one man or two or three people coming. It's their people, their own saying what they achieved in their country. They trust within the trust of the nation and the language. In all these conferences, we set up Universal Council members responsible for the language has to be present. This is the interaction between the foundation and the soul of a nation. The governments we serve, they're there to serve. We all learn. It's nobody's fault. We all learn. We all mature in time. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, you'd mentioned earlier about clinical trials, and I believe it was in China. And Anuj has a question. So there'd be clinical trials started within the USA as well for people that cannot travel to China?
All these, don't forget, these are medical type 1 in EU. And at the same time, we are trying to change the systems into medical 2. So we need to collect data to go to that phase. We set up in different applications because these are external systems. But in a way, we want to bring it to be recognized internationally by all governments. In US, we are certified for what we do. In the EU, we are certified what we do. And these are body enhancement systems that they work in the operation of the enhancing the body of the man. We don't intrude, we don't give medication. And it's the understanding of it. And at the same time, we're changing the direction that the government understand more and more. These clinical trials are not like, as you call it, health clinical trials. These are to collect data that for governments to authorities to be able to see the progress, what it can do, what it cannot be done. Because once I show the spacecraft and I put it 20 meters above Earth, there is no government can control it. It belongs to space. So we can land anywhere and pick up anyone and treat them and put them back down again. But we try to sort out in a proper way everything that it goes through, and we collect data for more people to understand, to see, to observe, for doctors to learn. There is something very important I keep on repeating. Our technology is not the only technology that we can say we do everything. We do everything which mankind needs in space, and we're learning more what to do with the technology. We got to respect other scientists and others who work in different fields and aspects of research. I see a lot of scientists using different parts of the Keshe Foundation, and it's good. They claim they've achieved this and that. It's good. But very recently we saw a Chinese guy saying that he's come up with a graphene, this and that puts, and one of the Keshe Foundation, suppose this is done by Mr. Keshe 10 years ago. And the people who backed it up in very well-known electronic groups, as we said not to mention their names, they understood where the problem, where the people coming from. The speciality is very deep. You have to learn which way you want to go with this technology. We split it very wide and very open. I wonder how many of you have managed to break through the maglev energy system, and I know many of you. Is this wire we have to connect, or is it that we have to position? If you're asking me, you already tested, it doesn't work. Why do you do asking me to see what's the next step? If any of you understand the property of a maglev systems, which you have, and you claimed everything on it, you have one of the biggest power supply flying machine resources in the universe. But as you know, I'm a patient man. You have to learn. And if you haven't learned, it means mankind is not ready for it yet. Next question. At the moment, you can book in to go to China. The hospitals will be there. You stay maximum 16 weeks because it has to be observation. We have to see their full development. You will see the changes in the first few days. And we go back step by step to see all diseases. And the machinery has to be modified to the disease. And we'll see a big changes coming up. I think medical software will become one of bigger than medical hospitals. As you get a prescription, it's in the patterns, and I've spoken about it before. Now you see that's reality. You take the machine is already tuned to your doctors or whatever. This morning you have this disease, they want it, the diagnosis, and it's set to your machine. You open it up and you get it. One of the Keshe Foundation supporters wrote to me very recently. Can this be used as a Viagra? I said, what is the state of your mind? What do you want? What do you expect from the mission? Any other question? You don't want to be on our end and see the things I receive. Some of them makes you laugh rolling on the floor. How do these people even think of these questions, how to use this machine? Can I go out? I lost one of my legs. Can I go in and come out with both of my legs? This is a guy who sent me a question like this. Magic box. Next question.
Maybe one day, Mr. Keshe, maybe one day. Maybe you have to go in, but you come out 2 years later. But, you know, his wish is his command.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Just say goodbye to the family for a while.
Right. But
It is a sealed unit after all.
You know,
Krasner,
you
sorry,
know,
go ahead.
you know, it's a wonderful thing. Have you been to Disney? When you go, sister says, "It's a wonderful world after all." You remember that song? The water world in Disney.
Yes.
Okay, you've been there. You go. This comes to you every minute, maybe sometime 10 times a day. If you live in Beijing or in any of the Chinese cities, they have these huge water tanks. And these water tanks have a very low level jet. They just wash the street. The streets of China are cleaner than Switzerland and Europe. It's one of the most cleanest nations I've ever seen. And as this tank goes washing everything, and he plays this music, this English music, is wonderful after all. And you say, oh my God, you know, it is a wonderful world when you see such a water, you know, refreshing the whole street. And it's not just cleaning, the whole environment changes. It's a wonderful world if mankind knows how to use it.
Well, that actually is a great segue to a question from Theodore in the Q&A, who actually asked about water and specifically about intention. So he's got, I think, two questions here, but it goes like this. Theodore, Mr. Keshe, quantum physicists say that an observer observing seems to have an effect on the matter state. Would it be correct to see the observer as a projector projecting intention into the matter state?
Of course. Because that's what you want to see. So you create the intention of seeing what you intend.
Mm-hmm. And why do humans use liquids historically to capture intention? Like, for example, holy water and ice crystals geometry. Is it the space between the water molecules that holds the intention, like the space between copper molecules during nanocoating?
It's actually inside the cell itself. It doesn't need to be between it. It's the structure, now that we understand the creation is made of plasmas and fields. So in every plasma, there is a space gap between what we call two fields moving opposite to each other that create the gravity and the magnetic field. So your intention depends where you want it to be and what it's demanding for. There is something interesting. You talk about intention. Try to test something with, doesn't matter what. If you are close to your partner and your children are different closeness because they carry part of your field. If you are close with your partner in bed, especially when they're asleep, you try to get them or think with the loving care that I want you to move your left leg. And then you see them move their left leg and say, yes. But that's not a control. That shows the clarity of the soul. Then it shows we don't need a physical dimension to be in touch with our lovers. This does not need a physical presence. And if we understand this, that it really ingrains in our comprehension of the existence, then you understand more and more. I don't need to be next to you to love you. I can be across the universe. You feel my love. And that love is giving, is what I want to give. What you give to me is a pleasure to confide. It's a mutual. Then you understand. You have a start understanding about the work of the soul of the man. But man is physical, so he needs that movement of the leg to say yes, I can feel my lover. She listens to me. She sees me. She hears my soul. She hears my intention, direction of physicality. And then you extend more. You try to say, I love you, and you get a move towards you. Doesn't matter what it goes. It's in the writing and this what they call cornerstones of Jewish religion. It doesn't matter what happened between husband and the wife during the week. You have to confirm your marriage every Friday night. That's part of the rules. This is sacrosanct, you cannot break. Now, do you need that physical confirmation, even if it's whatever regrettable, or by thoughts you can tell your partners you love, and then you see the reaction. A hand comes and cuddles you deep in the sleep, or do you feel the touch and the kiss from thousands of miles away? And then you know, and then you understand. This is part of the teaching, what we try to, for you to get to understand the operation of the soul, because you always have to have that movement of the leg to say, yes, I'm in touch with her soul. You don't have trust in you that I already touched the soul. This is what you will understand more and more. You have to, because as you get the confidence in yourself that I am there, then you can understand, do I need to be in a physical condition, a physical body to be able to touch, to feel, to love, to enjoy the existence? Loving a woman or loving a man does not go in the dimension of physicality. It has to be at the level of the soul of the man. Physicality will sort itself out. Have you seen two old people in their 90s? They still enjoy being with each other, even though they cannot move, sitting two handicapped next to each other in a wheelchair. I've seen many of it. We had the good times. Now we are there and we still have a good times because there's no need to touch. You feel my love sitting next to me in a wheelchair. Man has got to start building trust in his own existence, that true existence, not the physical dimension. You see, you feel, you know the betrayal. You see, you feel, and you know the love. And we see both. And as a humans, you have to understand, you have to come to understand you have two levels. You got such a beauty that you have two levels. You have to understand the dimension of physicality and dimension of what is called the non-dimensional part of you, which is led to your creation. You call it the soul. Without it, you don't exist. You lost the track how to be in touch with it. And now you learn more and more. But you always look for the physical eye to get the confirmation. And many people abuse that because they don't understand it.
Mr. Keshe, we have Krasmir with his hand up here. Maybe he has a question for you. Go ahead, Krasmir. I see your microphone's open there. We're not hearing you yet.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Okay, hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Krasimir from Bulgaria. I have a question that is related to emotion and the structure of the soul. In a couple of your teachings, you show that every emotion have a specific position within the structure of the brain related to the central field or the soul. And what we know from plasma is that the closer we are to the principal field or to the soul, the higher level field strength we have. So if this is correct, I guess the low-level emotions like hatred or anger would be somewhere within the boundaries of the structure of the brain, and the high-level emotions would be closer to the center, so closer to the soul. And is there a way for us to restructure our brain in such a way that we push out those low-level emotions outside of the structure of the brain so they don't manifest themselves, and on their place we have what we now have as love and strong emotions, and we somehow open up the soul and we get higher field emotions without having to manifest low-level emotions?
There are two ways to do it. Why don't you do it the easy way? Elevate the soul, elevate the soul that surpasses the boundary of the brain physical dimension. It's much easier. Trying to go from outside in is very difficult when you're inside and you want to go out. And the capability and the power of the soul of the man is huge. We have imprisoned our soul. We have imprisoned our true talents, our true strength. Maybe it's the fear of the dimension of showing how, what I call, fallible and what I call weak our physical dimension is, that they're hiding it inside the strength, the true strength of it. Why have we chosen this dimension? This is part of the problem. Don't try to solve it from outside to go in, go inside. It's very easy to get out and come out, surpass it, because once confirmation comes to matter state, then it's so weak. Deal with the boss. Why do you want to work with the doorman? You know, when you go somewhere and you don't get your job done, it says, I want to see the boss, I want to see the manager. If in your physical life you go and see a manager when you can't solve the problem out, why don't you go to your manager of your soul and go and say, I want to handle with the soul? Why do you deal with the soldiers? You do it in physical life, but when it comes to yourself, you're lost. Learn how to tune to your soul. Learn how to tune. They call it soul. This is not mystic. It's just understanding. It's there. We found the heart and we found the liver and we know what it is. Why is it so hard to find something which we created? And then Keshe Foundation doesn't become a religious or a cult. It becomes understanding the true cut of the life, what it is, how we are and how we are made of. Because up to now, those who said, is somewhere in the sky, they were the ones who were playing the magic box in the name of religion. Somebody wrote to me very soon, Mr. Keshe, do not come to Iran. You said you're coming, they're going to kill you. I said, let them try. I don't go there to end up this and that. I go there to raise the love of the nation for its own sake. Nobody can stop us. No nation, no religious leaders, no government.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. One really quick question. In one of your teachings, you said that interaction means taking and giving from both levels, magnetical and gravitational. Would that mean that we actually have 4 levels of interaction, taking and giving from magnetical and taking and giving from gravitational? Or is
of
just...
course.
Okay.
You have the earth and the sun to create something. 2 forces have to interact on both, so you have always 4.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What time is it?
We're into it for 2 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes roughly.
Okay. Few more minutes.
Andrew asks, is it possible to turn this unit into a mobile unit by housing it into a beautiful coach motorhome or RV trailer to help others in the community that may not be able to get to a center?
You want to become an ice cream man? No problem.
Play a little song like the street sweepers in the morning, and you go through a neighborhood. Well, it's almost realistic, except you would have to have apparently a doctor and a therapist that would be part of this unit. Or how would that look like? Or maybe you'd show up in a school and set up, and then a doctor and a therapist.
Why do you look at it? Why do you look at it as a machine for health? Why don't you look at it as ice cream man? I've come here to give you the pleasure of ice cream. You go in and you get the taste of any ice cream you like.
Right, a whole different set of regulations that way, especially if you don't have actual ice cream in your ice cream thing. That's where all the trouble comes in.
I'm sure governments will come up with rules and regulations. You can only have the ice cream, and the other one with the orange cart parks outside the school can have orange. You go in, you get the orange, you come back, but you never really physically see the orange. I'm sure our innovative diplomats and politicians will come up the way to handle it. There is something very strange. We are here to bless the world leaders who are the peace leaders. In the hotel we are, and in the coming days, the world leaders gather in this city, not very far from me. The 5 nations who set up the basis of world peace, economical peace, BRICS, are here with us. Not many floors above me, one of the world leaders of BRICS is in the hotel in the coming days. We give our blessing, and you will see the emergence of BRICS in the coming months. The soul brings, not the physicality. The understanding of the time will tell. The whole structure of the world leadership will change in a way that they will understand more about the matter. I always supported Chinese and Russian leadership in their correctness in promoting economical growth against war growth to create economy. And they have all our blessing in the next 2 or 3 days while they're here with us, and we are here with them. As it's a destiny for the time. You got to understand the time has changed, and the time you have to work in all levels to bring the change. In this process, the soul brings you to the position. Even the physicality is unaware of, even though you know the acts of the soul of the man. The emergence of BRIC is the cornerstones of the peace. And we will see this because we want that peace, and it has to come through economical growth and stability, not through economical war and instability. And this will build up more and more. I hope all the knowledge seekers, as we say, elevate the soul of these world leaders in Brasilia in the next few days, that a new solution for world peace order with their newest strength will come up, will emerge. His Excellency President of China, His Excellency President Putin are here. And these two men have done a lot for the present world peace. And their soul needs a lot of support.
Mr. Keshe, I noticed that President Putin made an announcement today about new weapons that Russia has that have no foreign equivalents, but he insists the country will not use them to threaten anyone. And he says the new weapon systems are designed exclusively to, quote, ensure our security in view of the growing threats. And he vowed to pursue arms control efforts. So when I read that, I thought, he seems to be alluding to a whole new kind of system. And perhaps he's talking about some kind of plasma-based systems that are not currently talked about in the amongst the countries.
You got to understand that the Keshe Foundation technology just does not come with us. It's a blessing of the soul of the scientists all over time. And President Putin is fully aware of the Keshe Foundation work. The contact and development of the connection between the Duma and the Russian government was left in the hand of Armen when we were in training. Because President Putin passed on the World Peace Treaty and the operation of it to the Duma to pass, and it was left on that table. You got to realize wealthy nations do not need to bark like poor nations with empty pocket. And Russia is a wealthy nation. People don't know how wealthy this nation is. I've been there, I worked there. I ran offices there for nearly 15 years. And people don't understand how wealthy this nation is. You walk on the street with little tiny dogs. When they see a big dog, they bark so hard and they deafen the whole neighborhood. And the big dog just walks away. You're just nothing. America is that little dog. Barks too much, it has nothing. The big dog knows what it is and he knows his what we call grace. Just ignores the little dog. Russia is a very powerful financially, and even China financially. They've always been. One of the things which shocked us, it wasn't shocks, it was a big surprise to us. They told us Russia is poor, the land of beggars and nothing else and whatever. And when the 1990s, when the Russia opened up and we set shop in Moscow and in Almaty in Kazakhstan, we couldn't see how much so much $100 bills comes out of this country. Where did this wealth come from if they were so poor? And everybody was hungry. If those of you who do not know, this is a very small part. All the carpet factories in Belgium were keyed up to export to Russia. 10,000 square meters per truck, 100 to 120 trucks a month. And all came back in US dollar cash bills. And we didn't know where they got these bills from. And that was a small part of it. You go to the clothing, we couldn't understand how wealthy this nation is. Where did it come? It was supposed to be communist. They're all supposed to be dying of hunger. But we never seen so much $100 bills. I used to go to offices and the markets where our, what you call, agents used to work. And people don't buy, if you understand, it's a lot of wealth. These nations are so wealthy, the Americans said they're suffering, blah, blah. Who says they're happy in the way they live? They're very wealthy. Russia is very, and the wealth brings you peacefulness and power of knowing. And the Russian scientists are an amazing group. You got to realize that the Chinese scientists, even today, they rely on the Russian scientists to bring them new technologies. Chinese scientists have not grown up to be homegrown. Russia helped Mao Zedong when they were fighting the Japanese to get rid of them. And with it, they brought a lot, and the Russians, Chinese highly respect Russians. And they, even today, they look up to Russia for the latest technologies. And they moan. I've been to the meeting with them, was just Russians have not shared this part with us, they're keeping it to themselves, like, you know, we're supposed to share everything together. And they have a lot of strength. They're very, very powerful nation. And powerful nation brings a lot of, as I said, the big dog, the little dog barks. And sometimes the dogs happen to have a blonde hair. We've seen it, and we walk around with it. These nations are very powerful. Russia is extremely advanced in all technologies, because you got to understand, Russia embraces new technologies from all nations is in touch with. This is something that outside world never understood. I worked with the Russian scientists for a long time. Russian mentality is embracing new technologies and adding to, and developing with, and openness to understanding. President Xi of China is trying to bring this, but the Chinese don't have that mindset. It's a mindset. They are very good and they are very powerful. Putin works very closely with the Iranian scientists in the space and plasma technology and other fields, in nuclear side. And the share is not closed doors at the governmental level. Russians are very good in sharing, because they get benefit back by it too. It's the only problem is, at the moment, I have to be enough powerful to stop the blonde dog bark too much. Any other question?
I have a question from Svetoslav in the Q&A.
From which country?
I'm not sure. Sounds almost Russian. Bulgaria, he says.
You know, Keshe Foundation Russia is a very powerful group, and they're in the scientific world. Keshe Foundation,
and Bulgaria,
yeah,
Bulgaria as well, correct?
Yeah, we've seen Bulgaria. But Russian Keshe Foundation supporters, knowledge seekers are extremely good, extremely good. We have a very deep support in the scientific groups after Russia.
So his question is, why the soul does not remember the previous life?
Good morning. Who says, have you seen your soul? Have you talked to him? Does not remember previous life because it's amalgamation of the memories of the life of your fathers and your grandfathers. It's not that it lived before. It's the collection of the two lines of your mother and your father's, whatever your ancestors have gathered in the bank of their information. And then secondly, mankind has access to the totality of the knowledge, does not need to be there on a physical dimension.
So you could be anyone of the past in a way if you were able to access that knowledge.
You're not
or
anyone.
all of them.
You have access to knowledge of the totality. And mankind, when it becomes stronger to understand furthermore in essence of the soul of the man, you have access to the whole knowledge of the universe, to the strength of universal community.
Does that include details down to the knowledge of individual lives and
if it's
past
happened
details?
If it's happened in field connection, you are always connected. It's just like, you live in a house and it's you and your children, your wife. There's a lot of noise goes outside. There's a car accident, the ambulance goes, the little child shouts outside, husband and wife talking to each other, and you see somebody cleaning. All those noises goes on. Your ear hears, but is learned to blank it out because the wife and the children are what you are concerned with. It's the same with the work of the soul of the man. The soul of the man is only at this moment concerned with the physicality of the life of the man. But it still hears all the noises and records it. Because you see your friend tomorrow, he says, there was an accident there and there were many ambulances. Oh, I heard it, but it wasn't mine because it's an ambulance call. But it's registered in your head. You were home, you heard it. Yeah? So it's the same process with the soul of the man. He hears everything in time. There is no man reincarnation of the soul. It's the man access to the information of the past through the soul of the creator of man. And in a way, we are present in all directions all the time. You see, I explained something a few minutes ago, and how many of you connected to the wish, to the emotion of supporting the soul of His Excellency President Xi and President Putin. You think that just I give, they have access, they take. So how much of it would they use for what is their discretion to create more peace condition. If you have a peaceful soul, and then in time, if somebody has the strength of soul, say, oh, he gave from his soul time, he was talking that they need the support, and they receive it. By elevation of the soul of the leaders, we don't make them stronger. We make them to see more of the reality of the peaceful life of the universe. That's where the elevation comes from. The beauty of the man is that he likes to be blind to the truth of existence and the life of his own soul. And that blindness has been used as a weakness by the church and the mosque and the rabbis and the thieves of Baghdad. They're all in the same pocket. One steals from the pocket and the other steals from the soul of the man, their true existence. Any other question? I open your eyes to a lot of truth which is hard to imagine anybody could speak about. Now you have to understand the bankers and the finances are all sitting on the same line as well as you lot. Share prices crash because Mr. Keshe said. Any other question? Please think about the new structure of the Keshe Foundation campus assigned knowledge seekers and how you would like to be part of to set up new research and new development and what you like to see. You don't have the knowledge, but there are other people in the foundation who have the knowledge who can help you to build it up. And understand that, as we say, the true game of science, space, and technology is developed. But do not stick to the four ganses.
And how will people connect in this group? This will be a Zoom group, a new group set up.
The way we would like it to happen is to sign as a knowledge seekers and attend the first couple of weeks of next season, next semester, the first beginning of the year. I think this is the 5th or the 6th year of the FUF, what you call it, KFSSI. And in that group, in the first couple of weeks of teaching, talk to each other. They're all in the same classroom. I want to do this. Who wants to be with me? Go, you do part of this, or do, and set up your own groups. And set up in what you like, or you like to be in two groups. See if you can merge the two together. And come together every day, every week. The classes will be there, open for who wants to discuss what the problems are. In a way, we're extending the work of the teaching of today with what Rick has been doing with the workshops. It becomes a place now you decide as a student. It's like when you do a master's or you do a research as a PhD. The only problem is, sorry, we haven't found any pen yet and the paper to give you a PhD certificate for your research. We write it on the soul of your man. And then I hope they tell you he got a research PhD from KFSSI is written on his soul. Then decide together. This is what I want to do. Join in to develop the research in what you thought. Maybe you have a thought of it, but you don't have the understanding of the physical parameters or whatever else you want to do, and build a machine or a system or develop an intellect. It does not need to be a machinery. Look into the more essence of the development of the understanding of the whatever you want to do. We're closing all these side, what do you call it, fringe classes of the Keshe Foundation. They still run, but in the background. If anybody would like to be there, they enjoy me there. I call it the granny classes. We'll carry on if you want to carry on. But the main frame of the teaching of the Keshe Foundation will change into research and development. And you come in, don't worry, I don't understand even how to make cancers, but you are a housewife and you've seen, if I could make an egg machine that I look at it, the egg will be made, bring it to the teaching. Enroll and say, this is what I want to do. Can we find a way that I can boil the machine, the egg by thinking and how it can be done? In the coming months, in the coming weeks, I will release the, what we call the control through the soul and emotion of the man system. I showed it to one of the knowledge seekers very recently and I saw the shock in his head. But he still couldn't understand how for it, but it was there. We will, as I said, we release technologies. In most probably in the next few weeks, you will see this system that will work through the thought control because computers are too slow. It's not controlling other people's, controlling you men who like to play with machines and toys. Any other question, or shall we call it a day? From next week, we start going in depth of the universal language. And understanding of it. No other question. I'll tell you what we are looking for. Maybe this is on the side. Keshe Foundation, headed by Ella, as we are moving into a new direction. We are looking for professional designers on the contractual basis. We are looking for people who can support professional. We're not paying the extraordinary rates or whatever they want. Correct fee. We're looking for people who can support the what you call the programming on the internet side of the Keshe Foundation. Our team are exhausted for 2 years. They stood a lot, and now we want to start slowly sharing. We're looking for number of doctors to start training to join the Keshe Foundation in the new systems, and in so many ways, Keshe Foundation is looking for management who understand international management work to start carrying the factories on the managerial proper management team. We're not looking for Keshe Foundation just because you're a very good knowledge seeker. We're looking in knowledge seekers who have the experts of running or large organizations. We are cleaning up the past very slowly, but at the same time, the future is rapidly approaching. So if you have any of these talents we are looking for, but a lot of knowledge seekers are very good, and they think they are very good, and they are very good, but they don't carry the knowledge which we need to work, set up international organizations, running companies and everything else. And this needs expertise and talents in it, which does not exist at this moment within the group of the Keshe Foundation as we are. We are outsourcing, and that's as I said, as I step back, more and more responsibility running the whole Keshe Foundation, the way I do, goes back on the shoulders of Ella. And she's got a very big, broad shoulder for a little girl. But in so many ways, we need to structure the whole work of the Keshe Foundation, that it can move on to its next stage of development internationally. And if you're a knowledge seeker or not, or you know somebody in these kind of fields we are looking for, put them in touch with the Keshe Foundation. We are outsourcing for people who can design the new factories in 3 dimensions. And we're looking for people who can understand the design and development of managing international factories. And being a knowledge seeker is very nice, but you have to show a track record. You know how to manage. And that goes on the, what you call, leadership of Jamila as the head of the Keshe Foundation, what you call manufacturing side. This we need. And if you are in China, we need a lot of help as we are developing more and more in knowledge seekers to work with Manglin as the head of the Keshe Foundation in China. We are expanding. There's a lot of work, and the teams gradually get snowed down there. And if you have the talent, and as long as what we call financial benefits is beneficial for both the foundation and you, we are in a large recruitment. In the coming weeks, we announced the establishment of the Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Austria. We're looking for around maybe starting around about 100, couple of hundred people in the next couple of months. This is what we are looking at the industrial plants. That we have to start putting out the new systems which are sold by the what I call Keshe Foundation manufacturing. And at this site, we need experts in so many ways Doesn't matter which country you come from. If you're from EU, it's much easier for us because it's easy to engage with the work. But Keshe Foundation Austria next maximum month or so will announce we're looking for recruiting, maybe at least starting between 50 and 100. I'm building up to about 500 people in next year as the orders and the commitments for this unit sold has got to be completed as the numbers are increasing. We need to meet the demand. The position of the factory will be announced by the Keshe Foundation in Austria. So we start putting an employment list up, and the factory in Austria has a priority within the next couple of weeks. Has to be the start is what they call functions and work. We're looking for electronic people who understand the work of electronic system control. We're looking for Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers who understand the work of the plasma on the research side. And rest will come. As we said, when we spoke with the officials in the government of the Austria, they said they don't have the manpower to bring, there is not, we are fully employed. Unemployment in Austria is around about 3-4%, which is normal transition work. So we look for outside, as they're going to find people from outside, that if you're knowledge seekers and you want to be involved in running of these factories, the first factories in a very small scale will start in Austria next, most probably couple of weeks on our return back from Brazil, to start for the assembly and production of the units which are sold, and it has to be delivered in what you call January. There's a question mark with our German knowledge seekers. The setup of the Keshe Foundation Health Center in Austria has nothing to do with what is getting set up in Germany. A number of these will open up in Germany. You need, I know a lot of Germans are trying to step up to the, what we call setting up of the health centers and others using the technology. We can support you if you would like to collaborate with the foundation in different ways. We can speak. I'll attend the German speaking meeting people, I think it's tonight, if we can do, to see how we can help you. And I know a lot of Germans have a small bits they want to put in. It's something you have to sort out, and we support you to do the rest. We know there's,
I'm sorry.
yes,
go ahead.
We know there soon will be announced the establishment of health center in Canada. And there is talk of more in United States, and the French supporters who want to develop. We are prepared to help you. Go on the same channel as where there is a sale and put your questions on what you have, what you want, and we try to support you. The same in Denmark, the same in Norway. The people from what I call Switzerland, we look into your case and I'll let you know. People from the same, going from Morocco and Arab nations. I'll be in Arab Emirates end of this month with negotiation for developing things. Hopefully we can come to an agreement with the what we call United Arab Friends that we can do this. We are looking to establish the Iranian community investing in Middle East. We are supporting it. I would love to see Syrians to take up what they call the establishment of the first health centers in Damascus should be one of the priorities of the Arab League or Arab supporters. They've suffered enough and we can help them, they'll be there. Keshe Foundation is prepared to support the Damascus development in health centers on the account of Keshe Foundation. We stand supporting the nation on our own account. The process and the use of the technology in Damascus for the first 3 years will be met freely by the Keshe Foundation. The nation needs a lot of help. We announce as we have the financial capabilities to support nations which they need the support of the foundation. We are committed to the peace in Syria and we support the nation of Syria. With India, we have to see what we can do. India has been an enigmatic foundation for years, and we have tried everywhere to find a solution. Maybe a solution will come in its own way with the help of Bangladesh, with the others, that we give a leg up and they might stand up, and we'll see what happens.
Mr. Keshe, we're getting quite a few questions recently from people in the agricultural side, from farmers that want to try experiments. Gianni, for example, has a plot of land, and he wants to know, how to treat the wheat and this kind of thing. We know we have the private teachings with the agricultural part of KFSSI. Is there anything else you can recommend?
We are developing the agricultural part of the Keshe Foundation with a new technology. I know there's a lot of talks about gases and God knows what we can add. As I said, go and register in the KFSI education side on the standard student and make a team. All the farmers who want to do farm, get in there and make a dossier, make a report, and work with it, and make it and bring government officials to supervise. Just don't grow something, I want to grow this and that and see what it does. When you do it, bring the officials. Our harvest in China on 1 million square meter, which was tested, is completed. We are waiting for data, but we work with the officials. We want to see what the data says. We receive the harvest back so we can analyze. Try to organize yourselves in these education classes that you don't need to lean on agricultural. Dr. Gatwa is the head of the Keshe Foundation Agriculture. He's always there. He is a man of agriculture. And then we have guys in Canada who are doing a lot. We got Chinese who are doing a lot. In these teaching classes come together and plan out. This is what I'm growing. This is what it is. And make a team. Can we make a new agricultural machine that it can do this and that? Can we do? And if you can develop it, if you can see the need for it, yes, we can do. This morning I was talking to our Keshe Foundation team. We might come up with a new solution for greenhouses that will change a lot of things. We know how we respond in the next few weeks. You can grow everything at home in a very different manner, without any fertilizers or without any pesticide. We give this to you to test and show. We make this available once it comes. We are talking to and working through directions of what we call plasma field operations. I would love to know which in agriculture would like to go that way with us. We have put, when you set up these groups of KFSSI, we give you suggestions. These are the technologies we have. We would like you to work. Agriculture has become 2-3 people who just do things and they try to share. Come in, I've got a little plot of land, 50 meter, 100 square meter in the back of my house, and I want to grow tomatoes and cabbages. We have new systems we want to test run. We can talk. You've got hectares of land, we can talk. But walk away from using gases and using zinc or CO2. This is what I said. The new organization, the new teaching will bring you up. We're talking about the field control. We're talking about in different part of the land, as you grow potato in one and the carrot in the other one, they both can grow. And We are looking into new plasma system technologies. And what you call the process has to move on. Is not, I use two gases and what's the CO2 and CH3. And this is nice, but this is from 10th century ago in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation.
That was a question, the last question in the Q&A that just popped up here from someone called Shine, who I'm not familiar with, who says, my family has a pig farm and some of them have contracted ASF, which is the African swine fever. I tested it. I think it's in China somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the email is from China. He says, I tested it in the lab and GANs can purify the virus. I'm going to experiment with thousands of pigs.
No, don't do that. Do
is
not
there
do
anything
that.
I need to pay attention to?
Yes, do not. If you're going to try on thousands of pigs, get in touch with Wang Lin. A new process, what you call commercial or governmental or institutional clinical trial has started this week in China that goes with the monitoring with the government. We've done many of tests. The government is not interested. They are not interested how much we do. Speak to Wang Lin, go on, you know how to get in touch with Wang Lin through China. If he can't, through any of the QQ Keshe Foundation, Wang Lin will see she's monitors all the time. Let her know. And we organize, maybe you can do it with the monitoring from the officials. We need to give, we've done many, many tests to show it does. You know how it is, get in touch straight away with Wang Lin. You have 3 points of reference in China if you win. Get in touch with Xiaojin as a head of Keshe Foundation Agriculture. If you don't know Wang Lin, you can't get it. Get in touch with Xiaojin. Otherwise, get in touch with Chao. These are the key people will come to us very rapidly. And if you're going to test on thousands of pigs, we already know the data. Join the foundation because your data doesn't count you test on. Now we have officially processing there. Is Wang Lin in the background? She can come and tell us what is done. Wang Lin, can you hear us? Are you on the chat? Hello. They have a problem with the Zooms in China at the moment. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Keshe.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Wang Lin, can you explain to us what's going on the process you started with the pigs on the trial and how you want this gentleman to get in touch?
Yeah, because we have done a lot of tests, but since till now the government haven't paid much attention, and we have to get the research people to join. But recently we are going to do a trial with a research institution in China for pig. And then he will write like a formal report, so that is more like credit to report to the government. So if everybody want to try the test, it's better like we organize as a whole, and I will inform this research institution to follow up. So then the data will be like admitted by the government.
Thank you very much. Which channel do you want them to use to contact?
I think the same. They can write to China Plasma. That email.
Can you give us a full email, please?
And also QQ. I think they can contact the QQ.
Yeah. What email can you give a full email they can contact you?
Yeah, I mean the same one. Okay. Okay, it's better QQ. Just wait a minute.
Give us the email, please. It's easier.
Yeah, I think everybody know the QQ is also the email. The QQ is 2219426254.
Repeat it again, please.
2219426254.
And
the email is
email?
The email is out@qq.com.
No, the Keshe Foundation Plasma one, the one which we're getting.
Yes, I am.
We're getting a lot of Iranians going on the Chinese channel and the Europeans writing.
I don't know.
To
Everybody write that email, Jess. It's interesting.
Yeah, we're getting Iranians and the Chinese and the
Is
English
that because
people.
I always reply them fast? So they heard like this email feedback, so you write there.
Okay, would you like to read us the email, please?
Yeah. I try to got that email address.
Rick, do you have it in the background? The Chinese email?
I think it's a China Plasma out.
No,
Let me see. Sorry.
I'm not sure where that is.
Just wait a minute. Okay.
I think I've got to go faster than you lot.
Keshe Plasma China.
Keshe.
Yeah, Keshe Plasma China.
At
163.com.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't know how the Iranians get there. It's very strange, and how the others.
No, because you announce it in the teaching, and everybody have that, so they just write down there and write to me.
Okay, thank you very much, Manglin. Our love and thanks to you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I think you've covered a lot of bases today, Mr. Keshe, and we're up to over 3.5 hours here of your time. So,
thank you. It's all our times. Let's see what happens and how we grow. The structure is that gradually the foundation is coming out of what we call being kept out of the society by those who thought they can keep us out. But in the coming time, we changing, and a lot of things will change as people walk away with different systems and with different knowledge. I'd love to ask you one request. Support the soul of the world leaders in Brazil. You will understand the reason soon why. We are heading for peace, and peace needs a lot of support and a lot of men who are men of peace. Thank you very much.
okay.
We call it a day, and thank you very much for a new cycle in the knowledge of the man. And we start from next week trying to teach you all. I'm very sorry for those who came from the stock market to maybe learn more, that they can do something more with it. There's not much here. All the benefits of the Keshe Foundation as an organization stays the intellectual right and the property of the Keshe Foundation worldwide as a knowledge seekers. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And if there's no other announcements, I think we can complete today's workshop. That seems to be true. Okay, thank you everyone for attending today's 301st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, November 7th, 2019. Knowledge of the Universe. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for your knowledge of the universe today and informing us on the latest developments of the Keshe Foundation. Okay, Flint, thank you for co-hosting today and take us away.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.